Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. I hope it was a good one for you. It is the first episode of season 2 of my chronic migraine life. I can't believe it. I can't believe it mostly because this time last year, I literally had no idea that I would be doing this in the first place. It just sort of sprung into my head one morning in April. I was in the shower of all places, and I just wanted to share my experience with the world in a different way than just blogging. Excuse my hoarse voice. I'm getting over a little bit of a cold, but definitely on the mend. I wanted to talk today about the year 2020 and what it means for me. Not only is it a great excuse to keep watching those clips of Barbara Walters saying this is 2020, I just want to explore and explain what I'm really feeling. For starters, I began the new year by sobbing, almost to the point of uncontrollable sobbing. As soon as I watched that big ball drop on TV and it hit midnight and it was officially the dawn of a new day, I knew I would be emotional. I'm an emotional person in general. I'm very keenly aware of special days and events and markers in our lives. But this was a particularly special new year for me. We are entering a new decade. And all came rushing at me at once, even though I had been thinking it for a couple of days, was what the last decade had meant to me. So I stood there in a room full of very close friends and family, and everybody's happy and kissing and cheersing, and I just sobbed. I somehow managed to grab a hold of myself because I felt like if I didn't, I would be crying for an hour and a half. And it was that ugly, really unattractive cry that you would prefer to do alone, but I very rarely do. And so I put that someplace else and went about our celebration. But it's not just a new year, it's a new decade. And while I had migraines my whole life, when I talk about my chronic migraine life, for me, it really starts in 2009 because that was the first migraine I had that I couldn't break. And that triggered a whole series of events in my life that I never foresaw coming, struggles and challenges and hardships and pain, mostly, that I didn't know I would have to go through to get here, to this moment right now. And, of course, we never know what's lying ahead, no matter what we want or plan. And of all the things that decade brought, it brought me to this place, into a place where the life I want is now possible and within reach. Knowing that decade is over, even if pain comes back or my health status, my health changes, knowing that there's a door now, a door that is closed to that part of the hardest times of my life is over there and I'm over here. No matter what happens going forward, I have tools now that would better equip me to deal with whatever came next. I didn't have them back then. Information, the right doctors, the right sort of support, the right sort of everything, really. There is now a distinct space. Something about having an actual time of space between then and now, that person and this person. That no matter what, now when I talk about my story, it's in the past. There's something so powerful about it, so emotional about it, that all that I'm doing now is healing from all of that trauma. When anything serious happens to you in your life, whatever it is, even if it's not your health, if it's whatever circumstance it is, when you're trying to survive it, you spend so much time and energy surviving it that you don't get to process it. And sometimes you don't know that you're not processing it. And I'll be honest with you, until the beginning of 2019, I didn't know that I wasn't processing all my pain. Even though in those recent years I was coming back closer to being what a normal person would feel like and not in a daily migraine struggle. It's so interesting how life works, when they say you have to trust in God's plan. I never really believe in that kind of stuff necessarily, but maybe it was all purposeful. Maybe it was all a plan. The things that happened at the end of 2008 within my family and with my life and relationships, how they've changed in my life. And into the beginning of 2019, it all felt like a very big burden. And I couldn't see how that was helping me. More than helping me go through this really big period of emotional growth was that I couldn't see how it was connected to my past. And somehow in muddling through my day-to-day, it led me here, to you guys, to the YouTube series. And that's really been one of the biggest things in me dealing with and processing what I've been through in my healing. When you start a new year or a new journey, you want to have markers. You don't want to go back to your old way of thinking or your knee-jerk reactions. You want to sort of say, okay, that was then, this is now, I know better. Sort of to retrain your brain and your body that just because you have the muscle memory of what it used to feel like and what that experience did to you doesn't mean that that's what's true now, that you know better. And so every time you have a thought that you don't want to have or do something you don't have to, you have to just grab yourself and say, okay, but I'm not that person anymore. That's not my life now. Lately, I had found myself really dwelling on the time that I felt that I had lost because of my illness and angry about it, hurt about it, and trying to comprehend it. And a favorite phrase of mine had become saying, "But you don't understand." Even people that were really trying to understand, they couldn't understand. And you know what? I have to make my peace with that. They might never understand my journey. And that's okay. It's okay. It's okay that I wish people could understand what it was like to walk in my footsteps, but I have to also realize that I don't know what it's like to walk in theirs. And that was from the past. And I'm bringing it with me forward. It's something that's going to continue to take a long time, but I just feel very light now on the inside. At the beginning of 2019, I felt very heavy. I think we make all these resolutions and these plans and these dreams, and at least I know for myself, I want to see big changes, right? Like when you really want something in your career or your life, excuse me, you want to see them happening right away. And life doesn't normally work like that unless you win the lottery or graduating or getting married or something. You want to see some kind of ceremony that this is acknowledging this is it, this is happening right now. But life doesn't work like that. There's so many tiny steps decisions that we make every day, day after day after day, that lead us ultimately to where we want to be, God willing. But it's not something that you see with instant gratification. And I want instant gratification a lot of the time. And I spend a lot of time thinking that I put in a lot of work and I'm not getting anywhere. But the truth is, you can't see your progress in small time spans. You really have to step back and go, wow, look what all that led up to. All those Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays, you're like, oh God, the week's starting again and you're not getting anywhere. When I was really sick, I used to hate Mondays, and not for the usual reason. A dear friend of mine who was trying to be helpful, and I got her point, and sometimes it helped, was like, well, tomorrow's another day, could start over. I missed a lot of work. I had a day job that I hated, but needed at the time for medical coverage. And I missed a lot of it. I mean, like 200 days a year. I missed a lot of it. And, that doesn't happen at one time. It was every day that I was too sick to get out of bed, or too sick to shower, or too sick to commute, or too sick to whatever. And even on the days that I did, I felt like shit. and I was muddling through my life and my day. And I didn't have time for the things that I really wanted to do, like write. And, like, okay, well, it's Thursday. If I could just get to work tomorrow, then that's one day. And then it didn't happen, or something else happened, and I got sicker, or I think you could start again tomorrow. Monday's a fresh start. There's always tomorrow. You could start over. And sure, I tried, but there were so many Mondays where the same thing was happening. And so you begin to feel defeated in a way that is hard in other circumstances. When you're dealing with a chronic illness, you can't just put it away or carry it with you. It's not like fear. It's not like anxiety. It's crippling, and it's out of your control. And though the people around you who are cheering you on, like saying, don't worry, you could start over, you could do it tomorrow, you can't make up certain things. You can't make up for certain times and certain experiences. My chronic illness ultimately led to me being fired from that job. And although I was upset about it, just because it sucks to be fired for something that you have no control over, it was a blessing because I hated it there. And it was bad for my health to be in a soul-crushing place, and the fluorescent lighting and the traveling and the not being able to do what my body wanted to do when it needed to do it was bad for me. And so it opened up this whole new world for me. And, it's not like the movies, just start writing a blog, and by the end of it, the New York Times is reviewing your bestseller and your life is being made into a movie that's, sweeping the Oscars. It's not like that. And it takes time. And I'm realizing more and more that now that I'm on the self-care side, the healing side, it still have a ways to go. You have a new year, a new decade, you have this clean slate. And having baggage fall forward from the previous year onto this year right up front normally would have put a damper on it, but I'm not allowing it. It's a choice I'm making. I will be having surgery in the next month, God willing, for cataracts. I'm going to talk more about my eye surgery because I've referenced it a few times now in a later video. But I believe it's a result of the treatment that I did to survive my chronic illness, my chronic migraine life. And I'm 38. I've never had surgery before. I'm more angry than I am terrified. But that's how I'm going to be starting off my new year. But I'm choosing to look at it a different way. I'm choosing to see it as a way to make myself better. Now, as grateful as I am for where I am, knowing that I am making choices each day to get to where I want to be is all because of who I am in this body. It is this body that has given me this voice and this perspective to hopefully help others, to educate myself, to make me strong and determined to be the writer I know I can be and the person I want to be. And without this body and my chronic migraine life, I wouldn't be able to be what I wanted to be, if that makes any sense. It needed to happen this way. And I am really at a place where I see that now. I'm starting to see the puzzle forming, the picture forming, the edges are all complete. And now I'm starting to fill in the inner stuff, the inner portions, the inner layer. And that is satisfying. I'm starting to reap some of the reward for all the hard work I've done, even if it's only emotional. When you're going through a struggle or a period of growth, it is a day-by-day thing. And you're not going to see the results for a long time. You just try to do the best that we can and go through with it. 2019, rather. God, I'm losing my mind. Brought a lot of challenges, but there was a lot of good times, a lot of blessings that came in. The most important was that I see the true value of my tribe. I have an amazing family. I have an amazing extended family. And I see my place in my family. I see my place within my tribe, within the people that I've made part of my family who are not blood related. I really know what it means to love someone, what it means to be a part of something that's bigger than yourself. And for a lot of people, that's religion. For me, my family is my religion. My love is my religion. It's my language. I know how to be there, to really be there for somebody in big ways and in small ways. And I know that they are going to continue to lift me up and get me to my next places that I want to go to and help me through my challenges so that when I'm on the other side and I am living my very best life, I can share it with these people. There are people I can call when I'm down, when I'm out, when I'm happy, when I want to have a laugh, when I want to gossip. It's not a blessing that everybody has, and I'm thankful for it. I feel like I'm just seeing it with a fresh pair of eyes, which is ironic because soon I will be once I have my cataracts fixed. 2019 was a big year in a lot of other ways too, fun ways. I went back to the gym for the first time in over 10 years, and that was exciting and weird and new and sweaty. I got to meet a childhood idol of mine, Melissa Joan Hart, very recently, just this past November. And I could still weep openly about it. I'm just framing the picture now, and it is amazing. A year ago, yesterday, I finally got a book in the mail that she had signed, her book. And it's the first of many autograph books that I have that actually says my full name. It says Donna, the Queen of Fucking Everything. And no other inscription says that. It's in response to a blog I wrote about her. And she reached out to me. I sent my book to her. It took 2 years to get it back, but she didn't forget. She signed it. And then I got to meet her subsequently, unrelated to that. But it was a full circle moment for me. And I'm still so super excited about it. I can't even believe it. Just the healing and the countless good days that I've had. And by good, I mean cooking, shopping, eating so many good slices of pizza last year. I spent a lot of time cooking. I feel like 2019 was my pinnacle year of Dinner a la Donna. I've been doing it for several years, but I feel like it finalized everything. It made me have confidence. I love the creative process of cooking. I love all of the things that food symbolizes. The nourishment, the love for the people that you're feeding. I hosted my first Thanksgiving, and I always want everything to be perfect when I cook, and life isn't perfect, and neither is cooking. Sometimes you're going to mess it up, and the only way to get better at anything is to make a mistake and to be okay with making a mistake. I not only do I want everything to taste good and be perfect and be exciting and cook as a expression of my love and gratefulness and appreciation, I don't want to waste ingredients or time or money, and I have to get over that. I made a lot of good meals, and now when I'm in the kitchen, there's this confidence that I have that I think exudes into my other parts of my life, which I really like, in a way that writing doesn't necessarily do right away. That instant gratification thing. Writing is very mindful. I think a lot before I can actually type anything. And it's not very physical, sitting down to write. In the kitchen, there's something about moving around and getting out of your actual space and having a flow. I've reorganized my kitchen and I've got this kind of flow. I could just start cooking and a meal and the cleaning up, the whole process, something about it. I don't have a dishwasher or my own dishwasher. And so every night when I clean my kitchen and then I'm posting my pictures on Instagram, it's something about pride, even when it didn't go quite right, even when the pictures suck because I took it fast or the lighting was bad or I forgot. And so, now you've got a picture of a half-eaten something. That moment when you take the first bite and even you like what you cooked. and it was healthy maybe and something new and you took a chance and you just went with your gut. It's pride, it's satisfaction. And that's something that we all crave and all need. And some people don't know where to find it. And the kitchen is unexpected for me. I didn't realize that it would be one of my favorite rooms in the house and one of the rooms where I feel the safest and most like myself. And 2019 gave me that. You know, we have these deadlines and these guidelines, and I thought that my cookbook would be done by 2019, but it wasn't. It will get done this year, hopefully by the spring, but I'm not going to put a timeline on it. There's a difference I have to learn with discipline and not being lazy about it, but not putting so much pressure on myself that it takes the joy out of the project. And the project needs to be ready. You need to be ready to give it your best shot. And maybe the book I would have written in May of 2019 won't be as good as wouldn't have been as good as the one that I'm going to write in May of 2020. And so all of that kind of has to just simmer. And in order to teach others, you have to be able to teach yourself first, right? When you're on a plane and they always give you that, in case of an emergency, you put your own oxygen mask on before you could do it to somebody else. You need to take care of yourself before you can be of any use to anybody else. And I've always said that. I know that you have to love yourself or you can't love anybody else. And I'm trying. And I'm going to give myself more grace this year. I'm going to give myself permission to fail, to be upset, to struggle, to be honest about it and open about it, and process my pain, and just letting it go. I won't ever be able to forget this past decade and what it has been like. Normally would have said dead to me. Been like. And that's okay, because it had value. That pain had value. It wasn't in vain. But I can start to let it go and forgive myself and the universe that brought it on me for it. Because in order to be a good writer, after all, or a good public speaker, you have to have gone through something. You have to have something to say, a story to tell. And I'm a good storyteller. And I love observing everybody's life experiences. And, no one's life is free from hardship. And we all just have this one chance. So we have to make the most of it. And I'm going to have one hell of a story to tell my great-grandchildren someday. So I'm just sitting here in this new year in my new self and trying her on for size. And I'm going to still bitch and moan plenty, but I'm ready. So I hope you had a wonderful new year. I hope you're feeling well and doing well and being kind to yourself. And that's all. This is 2020.